fully engaged with media relations. I mean, I was always active before UMD, but really up at this time, UMD was never taken as a serious organization because they're like, we svedetsa, ništa ne znajete, blah, blah, blah. That's a typical response that I used to get from the older generation, and this is not to belittle anybody. But at that time, the Macedonian government was catering to that, and we wanted to bring a little bit of awareness that maybe democratic might be good. Geographic, we don't agree to. If the end, I mean, first of all, you have to understand, UMD does not agree to a name change. But in my interview, what I said was that UMD would not agree to it. If all went, hey, Macedonia had to decide, I'd rather have it democratic than northern or Skopje or whatnot. Because democratic Macedonia is a democratic republic. So it's really not sometimes. But people have twisted this word on forums and on things that UMD and Meto in particular is anti-Macedonian and is not, fighting for the issues. Yet all our work shows that UMD has been at the forefront of a lot of these issues and bringing awareness. And thanks to the U.S. and thanks to organizations such as UMD, and I'm not saying UMD is the only organization active on this, but thanks to organizations like UMD, the U.S. and Canada right now recognize Macedonia as Republic of Macedonia, and the Greeks, the other day, Doutsas, the deputy foreign minister, was in Washington and said, we feel that the U.S. should revert the recognition to former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. So we still have an ongoing struggle. So about the name, I apologize if some people may have misunderstood this, but that's not to say that UMD is not fighting more, or is not strong enough or hardcore enough on some issues. Because I personally, I represent this, so obviously I'm a little bit biased, but UMD is really sometimes hardcore. What other organization has really gone out there and spread the word about Macedonian genocide and the genocide of Macedonians? In the Washington Times, you know how much opposition we got from the Greeks? I get threats on a daily basis from the Greek community and Bulgarian community and whatnot. And about the framework report, I personally think that is against Macedonia's constitution, against Macedonia's internal matters. Some country, the U.S., and I agree, the U.S. has not been the best on this issue. And the U.S. and the European Union went to Macedonia that they're going to be peacemakers of a situation that was instigated by Kosovo mafia and people that came to Macedonia to instigate a situation. The Macedonian Albanians are not really a bad community. It's really those people in Kosovo that came during Kosovo crisis that instigated this. And if you read, I have made numerous statements about this, about the legality of this agreement. And the fact is, give me a break. You're going to create decentralization in 2004 based on ethnic lines. And that's according to the framework agreement, where you're advocating that Macedonia needs to be a multi-ethnic society, yet you're building decentralization of municipalities on ethnic lines. And I don't know about you or other people, but my father comes from Kichen. And I have to tell you, thanks to the framework agreement, now the whole town is basically Albanian. And they've overrun everything. And I'm not saying that Albanians should not get involved in the economy or the system and everything. But because of decentralization, they've created communities based on ethnic lines. And not that Australia is a multicultural. So the framework agreement, I just want to stress also that UMD was not active when the framework agreement was built.
I accept that, but there's nothing to be proud of. Why would we promote it?
No, UMD is not proud of the framework agreement. UMD is proud of Macedonia, who is a truly multicultural country. Yes, it's a homeland for Macedonians, but we all know the Kruševo Manifesto, where we all went together and said we want the Albanians, the Vlachs, and the Jews, and the Roma all to work together for this independent Macedonia. So Macedonia, compared to all the other countries in Southeast Europe, is really something to be proud of. I'm proud of it. I hope that everybody will be proud of that.
I'm less proud of it. I'm less proud of it because we've lost our sovereignty as a result of NATO intervention. It's a problem. It's nothing to be proud of. We wouldn't want to write that in a UMD publication and say, we are a progressive nation. Great. If we focus on our ideology and say, start from what the diaspora wants. These people here are saying, I don't like Albanians running Upper Macedonia.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Back at you. What would you do differently, and what do you think is the priority in the Australian Macedonian community? I mean, you as Chris Milenko, what would you do differently? Not you. Talk about here, Australian Macedonian community. What does the Macedonian community here do? Because
I am the voice.
for NATO and EU sometimes, I mean, Australia, first of all, is not even a member. I think it's not NATO EU, but what would you do differently?
I would focus on the diaspora and try and instill the wishes of the diaspora and use that and gather momentum and influence policy in Macedonia on behalf of the diaspora. When we work backwards from Macedonia saying they want to get into the EU and NATO and then say, right, well, because they want that, we have to follow them. And then we should change it, and they may be democratic, maybe whatever. Well, no, we say the diaspora says no, unacceptable. We're Macedonians. My people come from what is now Greece. How can I call myself democratic Macedonian? I'm from what is now Greece.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for saying. Just please leave. There's two more questions, and I must have a question.